the baby's head is much bigger when compared to the birth canal. So when the baby reaches out, there will be overriding of the skull bones. It's called moulding. So that sutures appearing very prominent, and you see upriding or a shelving between the bones of the skull, which is normal. There's something called as caput succedaneum. When the baby is lying upside down for a long time, there is a little bit of edema on the most dependent part. It's called caput succedaneum. It disappears in say 2 to 3 days, and if you try to apply a little bit pressure over that area, there will be a little bit of pitting. Caput succedaneum is a normal thing. It disappears by itself. It's a self-limiting. It's totally harmless. A swelling which is quite similar to the caput succedaneum is cephalhematoma. That is a collection of blood in between the layers of the skin. Cephalhematoma is slightly of more concern because it is basically hemoglobin which is collected there, and that may become bilirubin later. So there's a chance of a slightly higher rise in bilirubin. And caput succedaneum usually disappears by 2nd to 3rd day, and cephalhematoma becomes very soft by that time. So that is the differentiating feature. And in babies extracted through vacuum delivery will have a slightly bigger swelling that is called Chignon. All these disappear by its own, except that we have to keep a watch on bilirubin in babies with cephalhematoma. Hair fall in babies, all the thin hairs in babies usually fall off. They are called lanugo. It is it's a normal phenomenon. There is nothing to get concerned about it. Anterior fontanelle. All these bones have got joints in between. They are called sutures. And when two sutures join, it becomes a junction. So in front, there's a huge junction. It's called anterior fontanelle. That disappears by 1.5 years. This is a normal phenomenon. And sometimes you see a pulsation of anterior fontanelle. You don't have to get worried about it. A similar one, which is not very familiar with people, is posterior fontanelle, which usually disappears by 1.5 months. It's much smaller and it closes faster. It's the suture. It's a junction between the suture on the backside of the head and the center of the head. Then you have got something called as positional plagiocephaly, a flattening of head on one part of your head. That is because it's seen slightly during the later age. That is because the baby is applying constant pressure on the same area when the baby is lying down. It's impossible for a baby to hold their head straight, however hard you try. So they tend to turn towards one side, and if they keep on turning towards the same side, that side the head becomes very flat, and there may be a compensatory bulge on the other side, and there may be hair loss on the same side. So the ways to prevent it is to change the position of the baby's head quite frequently, trying to hold the baby for some time during daytime, at some point of time. All these things decrease the constant pressure on that area, and it helps the baby. And also tummy time. When the baby is awake and you're supervising the baby may be put on the tummy for say 3 to 5 minutes every day for 2 to 3 times a day. All these things are normal in the head and neck region. Two things which are abnormal are, one is craniosynostosis, where all the sutures and all the fontanelles are closed by the time the baby is born or very soon. In that case, what happens is the brain volume gets compromised, and there may be a problem in brain development. And the baby's turning towards one side while lying down is normal, but if the baby can't turn the head towards the other side, that's probably because there is stiffening of the muscle on either side of the neck, one of the sides. That is called torticollis. In that case, the baby may require physiotherapy and sometimes surgery.